Now we're good. Now we're good. Now we can get started. I talked and talked and talked. Good morning again to all of you. Let's begin our telepathic communication with Saint Germain through Luciana, all right? I'm already switching the trigger here. Saint Germain, now we're good.
It is truly, once again, a very great pleasure to return. Once again, the topics repeat themselves because, in reality, this kind of repetition is absolutely necessary so that you, through constant repetition, can assimilate and gradually bring up and surface from the depths of your consciousness, from the very depths of your inner wisdom, the eternal truth that you already possess deep within. In our discussion today, I really want to talk to you about all those specific things that you constantly fail to do every single day without even realizing that it is happening. You fail to create enough quiet space for your consciousness to fully rise to the surface, and you hardly even notice that it is happening. You live in a world where things are constantly becoming much more complex, different. Never before has a human being, in this advanced modern era we live in today, had such an overwhelming abundance of free resources and services without making any effort at all. Simply by moving just one finger, you can access almost anything you desire without spending a single cent. This, for sure, is part of a much bigger plan than you can imagine. It is an essential component of a much larger strategic plan to adapt and prepare for actual physical materialization in the real world. It's the kind of instantaneous manifestation that occurs with just a single simple thought. But, of course, it's not that simple. For you to go from a state of deep suffering, of grueling work where people would constantly pour their sweat and blood just to earn very little or absolutely nothing at all, to obtaining various things for free, to not being required to put in any sort of physical or mental effort at all. Humanity, this modern one you know and think is normal, we entered into this specific phase at the absolute peak of the widespread culture of sacrifice, when absolutely everything required a significant amount of personal sacrifice, and anyone who didn't make those sacrifices wasn't considered a good person, and they certainly weren't seen as someone decent or respectable in the eyes of the community. As someone good, they were seen as either already very rich or as someone who was somehow dishonest. So, those who didn't invest the necessary hard work and effort to get things were frequently viewed as being people of somewhat questionable moral character, or as people who didn't really understand what life was truly all about. That is quite enough for now. And then the World Wide Web finally came along and changed everything. And then came the massive sales, and then a vast multitude of different things started to appear that are completely normal for you today. The points you earn when you shop at certain stores, is that something you are familiar with or that comes to mind? It is a kind of payment in the form of new opportunities or in the form of physical objects that arrive for you absolutely for free. You can easily download various apps, and you can quickly access all your favorite content. And all of this is free. And what is truly happening right now, and what will continue to keep happening as we move forward, until we finally reach the end of this current phase? Between the weight of a brutal sacrifice and the lightness of being free, you must choose to take the middle path, so that these two opposing sides can eventually come together and unite on a single shared road for the future. bringing a sense of total well-being, bringing self-confidence, and the incredible ease of instant manifestation. Until every single one of these changes actually happens and takes full effect, a great many unsuspecting people will unfortunately continue to fall directly into this dangerous trap over and over again. Of the common way of thinking that what is free is not necessarily valuable or important, that what is free has no value. For instance, you could easily offer someone a very interesting book to read as a thoughtful gift. You offer a book. You give this book to that person. Or you could point them toward where they can get a digital copy of that book completely for free. How many people will actually read that book if you say that this book will change their lives? Very few. The best part is that with this entire free offer they are running, you don't have to do absolutely anything. You start to learn that everything just comes to you. And it's true, but not in the way most people perceive it. Because whether it's free or not, everything is under the law of attraction. And for you to take something valuable you received for free and turn it into profound inner wisdom and content that can change your life, there is a complex process involved. There's a truly immense and vast distance between one thing and the other. So today, you live in an era where there is so much information. There are thousands and thousands of pieces of information capable of bringing you the most varied kinds of knowledge. And it seems that many people today keep wanting to feed their inner selves with whatever still gives them that deep, lingering feeling that they absolutely need to be fairly compensated for all the immense suffering and pain they've experienced in their past lives, or even throughout the course of this current one. They're still continuing to operate in the mode of suffering, but in a different way. Now they want to be fully compensated for it. And I can absolutely guarantee to all of you, this is just a transitional phase. And this, over time, will change. Because people, even though everything is free, will start to understand that everything operates under the law of attraction. And if they don't make a real effort to change who they are, they simply won't be able to change the circumstances that are currently unfolding in their daily lives. They might have an amazing phone with an incredible amount of internal storage space so they can download whatever they want. They might even have an amazing computer that can effortlessly download absolutely anything they could ever possibly want. They might have an incredibly powerful and luxurious vehicle that can take them absolutely anywhere they could ever imagine, anywhere they want to go. But if they don't truly know what they really want deep down, none of these material things will bring them any sense of genuine fulfillment or lasting benefit, because they'll just keep orchestrating their own lives within the same restrictive and repetitive parameters of pain, suffering, and profound sadness, because those are the underlying factors that define their current reality and keep them stuck in place. Create obstacles in people's lives. People often say, "No, but I really need to think about this, because if I do not think, then this thing simply won't move forward at all. If I do not do it myself, then so-and-so won't do it either. If I do not pay close attention to this, then that other thing will surely happen." This, that, and the other. The other, people justify their worries, justify their fears, justify their lack of self-love, because that's the way they learn to live life, and they don't want to let go of that. No, not for now. Because every single time you say you need to see exactly where the problem is, where the deep pain is, where the hidden lie is, and where the intense suffering is, just so you clearly know, you are simply focusing all of your mental energy on that pain, that lie, that suffering, and all of that overwhelming fear. So, if you're operating within these systems, your external life might even be moving forward. You have your professional job, you have your financial money, you have a stable and healthy relationship, and yet inside you, there is still a deep, empty hole. And that hole can't create things that make your heart leap with joy. It leaps with joy at something new, at that meal you weren't expecting, at that visit you didn't see coming, at that manifestation that finally happened. But when the feeling of something new passes, the emptiness is still there. It's simply because you haven't actually changed the way you're currently operating on this planet. You complain about people, you complain about things. You say that people owe you things, that things have to happen in your life because you're a good person. You keep operating within the same systems of suffering. I've done so much for my family. I've done so much for this job. I've done so much because of this person. And you continue to keep operating in this unending cycle of suffering and paying the price. Suffering, paying. But this specific way of operating has been a complete and total failure since the very day it was first born. It is a massive failure, not necessarily for the one who originally invented it, but certainly for you. From the exact moment you choose to operate within these complex systems, you are already well on the path to inevitable failure. It could be a failure here and another one there. 1 week. It could be a life where I go several long and challenging years, and then I encounter a significant and difficult failure. It could be a life defined by failure, because you're constantly operating within that specific mindset, and you unintentionally help to bring it all to fruition in your life. So today, this is the position you find yourself in within humanity. You're currently in a very difficult position where if you simply keep on neglecting the specific things that you originally came here to do, you will inevitably find yourself falling right back into these repetitive and destructive programs. And do you know what you came here to do? You came here to take care of yourself. You didn't come here to take care of your family, your business, your car, or your house. You didn't come here to take care of that person. You came here to take care of yourself. While you're taking care of yourself, you do those other things too. But your main mission is to take care of yourself. It's about seeking your own well-being, your own happiness. It's about looking for what truly makes you feel fulfilled. Is making money good? It's great. Is being loved good? It's great. Finding your place on this planet is good. It's great. But whatever is deep inside of you that still hasn't fully healed yet, that right there is your absolute priority. As long as you're deeply afraid, as long as you're feeling incredibly sad, and as long as you truly feel like you're just a helpless victim of this harsh world, this difficult family, this demanding job, or even this toxic relationship, while you're living your life on those low levels, you'll be permanently stuck in the failure system. This is a system specifically designed to see you fail over and over again. You'll just wait, you'll constantly set unrealistic expectations for other people, and you will find yourself trapped in a cycle that never ends. For their actions to materialize, you'll keep waiting for something outside of you to bring you happiness. You won't want people to be who they really are. You want people to be the way you want them to be. You would never have expected the specific organization where you work for to turn out exactly the way it is today. No, you'll want it to be the way you want. You won't expect your life to be the way it actually is, because that's how it is. It's a reflection of you. No, you want what you've programmed in your mind, but it has not yet convinced your heart. It has not convinced your inner beliefs, and it has not convinced your energy. And when you choose to do that, you are essentially taking the long and difficult road that leads you straight toward inevitable and complete failure. And whether it's today, tomorrow, or the day after, you're going to end up at that failure. That is because you're simply not healing. If you purchased a brand new book, let us go back to that book example for a moment. If you bought the book but never opened it, you thought it was so interesting that it would give you so many ideas, that maybe it would speak to your inner self. So you could change, so you could heal. And you didn't do it. You really need to stop and think for a moment, because there is a deep-seated part of your subconscious that is actively fighting against you, just so you don't change, primarily because it has become so incredibly used to your past failures. Your own mind, specifically the one you operate in its very fastest and most reactive mode, is trying to keep you stuck right where you are. The one you use every day, that's your everyday mind, with its automatic responses, with that mode where you do a million things at once, but don't actually get anything done. Our human mind, it naturally loves to solve all kinds of problems. And if you say, I want to solve this issue in my life, and I truly know that it all starts deep within me, it's not that person, it's not that job, it's not this moment in my life, it's me. And I need to fix myself in order to fix these things. That mind is going to start fighting with you. It will do absolutely everything in its power to distract you, to come up with plausible excuses, because without those things, it becomes weaker. Because without any problems, you have a much greater opportunity to sit and observe your life. Without problems, you have the ability to peacefully sit down by a window and remain perfectly still right there for minutes or even for hours, just quietly watching the horizon. But when you're faced with problems, your mind is constantly bubbling. It's absolutely full of thoughts, full of complex problems, full of new ideas, deep anxieties, and many fears. It's incredibly active, and it always has something to do. If it weren't for these specific problems, it has absolutely nothing left to communicate to you. So it will gradually begin to slow down, and it will eventually lose its intensity. And when that happens, you develop an even more profound and greater capacity to communicate more deeply with yourself. Because this deep and profound communication with your inner wisdom and with the information you already possess, old information, which often isn't even from this current life, but is the vast and intricate accumulation of every single life you've ever lived, this information can only truly come to the surface when you intentionally create the necessary inner space and deal with your problems, with these limiting programs, and with the specific paths of failure you choose to walk down. The truth is that you simply don't leave enough quiet room in your busy life for that inner wisdom to even start communicating with you. And because of that, you don't even have the basic ability to truly listen when it finally tries to speak to you in those moments. So, this is the time. It's the time to adapt to what is. A lot of attraction in a very practical and effective way, in a remarkably quick way, where everything truly and really is and can be even more free. But it is absolutely crucial for you to realize that this free will not magically fix all the problems in your life, nor will it ever truly heal your deepest emotional wounds, and it certainly doesn't make your inner ears open to hear your own inner voice. This life that's more, quote unquote, taking the easy way out in life rarely provides you with the necessary opportunity or the mental space to look at yourself. Truly reflecting on your own character and actions is a deliberate and conscious choice that you must make, rather than just a simple consequence of your circumstances. It is really such a choice that when you are looking at yourself is the moment when you truly see your life, the real one. As long as you are constantly looking at the various things happening in the world outside of you, desperately hoping to find the true meaning of your life there, you will only keep creating this deep, empty hole within yourself and start trying to fill it with other holes or other endless voids of many different frequencies. This cycle continues endlessly because you are focusing your entire attention only on the external environment rather than looking inward at your own soul. So, when you wake up first thing in the morning, instead of checking in deeply with how you're feeling, instead of sending light to this beautiful planet, instead of sending light to your day, you immediately start thinking about how tired you are, what you did yesterday, what you have to do today. Your kids, your boss, your husband, your wife, your bills, your car. But you don't ever stop to give yourself even a single minute of quiet silence, just one single minute of absolute silence. It is the exact same kind of solemn silence you observe when someone truly important passes away. Why do we have a minute of silence? Because it's a minute of focus for that person. That's what a minute of silence is. 1 minute, 60 seconds, where you dedicate your attention, your energy to that person. And you don't do that for yourself in the morning? And that's also why so many people can't even manage a minute of silence for someone else. Because they can't do it for themselves. So they can't do it for anyone. After about 20 seconds, the person already wants to talk to someone else, just to see if that restless feeling of being there doing nothing gets stronger. Looking inward, what's that all about anyway? I don't talk, I don't think, I don't do anything. I'm like a plant, as if a plant were some kind of lesser being, as if it were a second-class being. But a plant knows exactly what it is. It knows when it's time to make its seeds, to grow its leaves, to bloom its flowers. It knows when it's time to bear fruit. It knows when to draw energy down into its roots, and it also knows when it's time to send that energy out. In other words, it lives in cycles, in an organized, coherent way. So for many people, a plant is actually an example of a life to be followed. But if human beings themselves are so lacking in personal organization, they will find it impossible to perceive the complex organization that naturally exists in plants. You're here today to truly honor yourself. You are a unique person, a living being, who is incarnated to honor yourself, to organize your own existence. You are here to heal your wounds, those that maybe you weren't able to heal in your past life. You are here to create something new for your life. And when you're doing all of this, you are a beacon of light for humanity. You are a beacon of light for your family. You are a beacon of light for everyone around you. You are here to change the human collective, but not in an external way, quite the opposite. You are truly only useful to the human collective as an essential force for transformation when you fully recognize and understand the necessity and the profound beauty that exist within inner transformation.